Guys, it is 5:39 p.m. on Tuesday, the 130th day I'm doing this. Here is your daily dose of hope. And I'll be real because I'm determined to be authentic. I have been going through it emotionally, facing so many fears that people shouldn't even have to face type of thing. But I just did some meditations, and I call it my bird choppers, that's making noise outside. And here's the truth, whether people understand or not, I don't regret any of that kind of turmoil that I'm kind of going through, because I'm not. Basically, what's happening is I'm trying to go for what is good for me, and I'm getting pulled back. So I'm fighting it, is how it is. And one trick I'm like learning through all of this, just because I'm doing it, is, and obviously do everything at your own risk. You're sovereign. But if it feels like you can't breathe, right? Purposely hold your breath. Like, what I notice for me is I feel like, and not all the time by any means, but I feel like as I'm trying to relax, which I should be allowed to do and all of that, it's like I can't breathe. It's like, you know what then? I'm going to take control, basically. And I said that at 1:44. I'm going to take control. And I'm going to show myself, no, I'm in control. So I purposely held my breath, And then I purposely, I gained back control of, I'm going to breathe in, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to breathe out. If that doesn't make sense, that's fine. This is for the people where, it makes sense. And I'm facing some massive stuff right now, like really core stuff. And I know I'm moving so much energy. So I'm reminding myself, yes, this morning was grueling, right? But the facts are, after I kind of hit, I kind of realized some things as I'm trying to relax, which I should be allowed to relax, right? I ended up, I took a bath, did a short meditation in the bath, then took a shower, and lay down and said, just do meditations. Fill your brain with something good. And so it really does feel like I'm steering that ship. I think a ship takes a couple miles before you actually start to see it turn, but you're turning it the whole time, that type of thing. And that's honestly what I'm doing. I'm doing groundwork. I really am. And I'm realizing that it's almost like I'm in this burning building or this crashing plane, and it's like certain people want me to stay there. And it's like, no, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, nor does anyone else, by the way, in general. That's fake, right? That's a false sense of security. But I know that staying on this current course, is not in my best interest. That I know, and it's not in my daughter's best interest, So yeah, I'm facing some massive, massive stuff, but I'm still here, and you're still here. And I don't mean that at all to be trite and to say, oh well. I mean, wow. I'm facing these things that have always held me back, massively held me back. And I'm breaking through them ultimately. And how am I doing that? By feeling the feelings. That's basically what it is, right? So today's quote I agree with, and it says, around us, life bursts with miracles. A glass of water, a ray of sunshine, a leaf, a caterpillar, a flower, laughter, raindrops. If you live in awareness, it is easy to see miracles everywhere. And that's honestly how I naturally am. And I feel like I haven't met in real life people who actually value that, in me. But that is honestly how I am, is I can Like, I'm looking at the trees right now and I'm just like, wow, you know? So, and another thing I wanted to say is when they talk about fight or flight, I realize I'm having fight or flight. I'm having both at the same time. Because I also today, because I'm just a lifelong learner, and what I mean is I will keep like pushing, right? Like I will keep like the pursuit of living my best possible life, right? So I watched a webinar, and yes, it was about ADHD, which is fine. The label doesn't matter. It matters the symptoms and how it affects you, as I keep saying. So if you relate to the symptoms and you benefit from the strategies, who cares, right? I'm reminding myself. So for example, for me, I'm relating a lot to the ADHD symptoms, but the trauma is what prevents me from accommodating myself. But it turns out the stuff I've started doing out of almost desperation is what is like science backed and everything, right? So I like wrote down, like I took notes this time. I'm like telling my brain like that meta knowledge of like, no, this is actually totally normal. And one of the things the person said that I wholeheartedly agree with is, especially if you already have like ADHD or trauma or whatever, and then you live, and then our society is like ADHD, meaning like, you know, no attention span, like, unrelenting information, like never stops, right? Never stops. He's like, it's going to be 10 times harder, you know? And so, yeah, it's just, I feel like I've been in this whirlpool or something of like, well, this is what we're supposed to do. And I'm like, but this does not work for me. This is not good for me. It's kind of like, too bad. This is what we're doing. And it's like, I'm working really hard with the feelings of like, I'm jumping out of that. I'm opting out because every day, every moment of every day does not need to be an emergency. It's not an emergency, right? But if your system's so revved up, that's how it feels, right? So then when something actually happens of something, it's almost like, I can't handle that because I'm already dealing with emergencies day in and day out. But we're not. But our brain thinks we are. Our nervous system thinks we are, you know? And it's amazing to me because I know I'm saying like correct things, and I know I'm on the right track, and I know I'm like hearing my soul, and the fear is still like, well, certain people. But I realized this needs to be the year that I take the action anyway. And all I can tell you is that's really scary on lots of levels. But I deserve to be here just as much as you do, just as much as anybody else does. So if I know that path A does not work for me, is not sustainable, all that, I ultimately have to have the courage to at least try path B. And when the brain says, well, you don't know about path B. Okay, but you know path A is not good. And if someone grew up being loved and being, protected and safe, had that sense of worthiness, they would not continue on a path that they have identified is not good for them, to say the least, right? So I need to act as if I had that. And you can imagine that takes extra everything because I don't have a default of that. I have the opposite default, right? So that being said, I just wanted to share this because this is absolutely coming from my heart, my soul of, wow, like, when you take the time and the energy and the effort to figure out what's working in your life, what's not, and you discover something that would absolutely at least be in the right direction, and you realize you're still being held back by things that you shouldn't have to be, right? So This is me walking the walk as always. But ultimately, I'm damn proud of myself. I really am. Because it's like, okay, so I've watched Moana, and in order to get to the water, like the open water, they had to go through these waves, like this dangerous feeling thing. But she had to trust ultimately that it was worth going through that to get to the other side. That's where I'm at right now. And I ultimately have to choose myself. Because I would let other people do that. So why am I not worth the same as other people, right? And my ultimate goal is to help other people. So I want to walk the walk, And I think the fact is, I know this is probably unpopular opinion, but like if stuff made us happy, if stuff alone made us happy, we'd be happy by now. Right? I'm talking about once you have like the basics, right? Stuff does not make you sustainably happy. I've known this for a very long time. So when it's like, oh, we'll get stuff and then you don't need connection everybody's different and that's totally fine, but for me, that's not what I care about. Like, not saying I want to struggle, but if it's like quality time versus another shirt, it's not even a contest with me. And, people who feel like I do deserve to be here just as much as people who, feel differently. So, that being said, I'm just speaking from my heart, and I'm feeling like I'm turning a corner, another corner. And I'm realizing that for now, just fill myself with the good stuff, not ignoring emotion, but not allowing myself to get, which hasn't happened yet, but I'm just reminding myself, like, you can feel that, but you're not letting that dictate your actions. That's not true, And the best way to figure out if it's true or not is to externalize it. Yeah. So, okay. That being said, I love you guys. And remember, you are the sky, which means you were here yesterday. You're here today. You'll be here tomorrow. You deserve to be here, even when you're confused, even if you're cranky. Like, right? This unconditional that, maybe we've never had, but we still do deserve it. Okay. Love you guys. Have a great night.